What's that? I got a grenade. Oh yeah. Honestly, get stuff. I get it. You want some? I got something. A knife. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get my gun back out. Oh yeah, I remember this. Open this. I'm a short soldier. Night vision device is required for that. So I need night vision. Puzzles. Puzzles, man. Puzzles. Oh, up here. Ding, 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 ding. What is this? I can't see. What am I supposed to do? This is Madden.
Now on the scene trying to determine what went wrong.
Nothing can be
Blowing
used.
emergency over vaccine mandates, New York's governor readies the National Guard
I'm very short.
workers who are likely to quit over vaccines tomorrow. As a federal judge
Run this one.
vaccine mandate for teachers in the nation's largest public school system. Booster shots going into
Oh, this one's clear.
this weekend, but what if you received J&J or Moderna shots? What the experts say now about mixing vaccines. Border crisis. The head of Homeland Security says more than 12,000 Haitian migrants have been released inside the U.S. to await
Okay,
asylum
nobody
hearings.
wants some smoke.
Remembering Gabby, a massive outpouring of grief at the funeral today for Gabby Petito, who was murdered.
Gabby loved life. Lived her life every single day.
You okay in there?
The search for her fiance enters its second week. A river of lava in Spain
Don't worry.
tearing down this
I'm gonna find the key to this thing and get you out of there.
Plus a surprise proposal during a
Why are they freaking just taking all my soldiers? Push the button. Ooh, elevator.
Good evening. As we come on the air, federal investigators have arrived at the site of that deadly Amtrak train accident on Saturday. A team from
I'm
the
ready for anything.
is in Montana to find out why the passenger train derailed while traveling
Oh.
on a section of track with no curves and with no severe weather around.
Wasn't ready
We're
for
getting
that.
pictures today as well of the destruction, and we're hearing from the passengers who survived and the bystanders who rushed in to help. Jacob Ward starts us off tonight.
It happened around 4 o'clock on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. The two-engine Amtrak train carrying 141 passengers and 16 crew members suddenly dragged to a halt as 8 cars derailed.
Oh my God, it's on its side. All this time it was like it's extremely violent force.
Rushed into help.
That's what he thought.
They had provision, jaws of life. They did have some of the individuals. The accident took place near Oak Judge near Joplin, Montana. Fire has been helped with several helicopters that have and approximately 3 people killed.
strikes me that it's going to be something to do with the resources that jobs and how they connect with each other, while some fall and draw on the track.
On a per-mile basis, rail travel is far safer than
That's what I
track by
thought.
car. And recent years have seen safety improvements like positive
You
control
really
systems
want
and
more.
automatically detrain safe speed.
Come on, buddy.
But rail maintenance is a constant challenge, and the section of track will be one of several areas investigators will examine as crews work to clear the wreckage from this typically well-traveled.
That's what I thought.
And Jake's with us. Jake, what are we learning about the investigation tonight?
There's so many.
Kate, at this
Key.
point, all of the passengers are accounted for and new
Get away.
details are beginning to emerge. For instance, BNSF, the company that operated the railway, says that it in fact inspected those tracks just 3 days ago. Meanwhile, Amtrak says it is now joining the investigation. Kate?
All right, Jake, thank you. Now to a major development about COVID vaccines. A judge has blocked city schools from requiring the shots for teachers. Now there are new fears about staffing issues and a possible state of emergency ahead of another vaccine deadline tomorrow for healthcare workers. Monica Helper reports. Just after a vaccine mandate was set to go into effect for teachers staff in New York City, a federal judge temporarily blocked enforcement in the nation's largest school system. After Mayor Bill de Blasio announced last month that nearly 150,000 employees would have to get at least their first dose by Monday, which includes teachers, custodians, and cafeteria workers. Tonight, mixed emotions from parents on what the pause means for their children.
It should be mandated. Yes.
I feel like if the teachers don't want the vaccine, that's okay, as long as they say goodbye to put the mask on.
It's the first no-test option mandate for such a broad group in New York, where there is a similar prerequisite for hospital and nursing home workers starting tomorrow, prompting major concerns over staffing shortages. With Governor Kathy Hochul announcing she's ready to declare a state of emergency if thousands of teachers or healthcare workers don't show up, even preparing for the National Guard to step in if needed. Currently, 84% of hospital employees in New York State are fully vaccinated. Percent of nursing home staff. In New York schools, 89% of teachers have gotten their shots. But the current mandate fight is likely a sign of more to come.
This is only one in any number of lawsuits that, you're going to see across the country because of the polarization and the disinformation.
This is
The
my
Biden
revenge.
administration already bracing for legal battles when it comes to its own requirements for workers nationwide, with the challenge of enforcing some of these directives even more complicated than creating them. And Monica's with us from the White House. When do we expect a court decision on New York City school teachers? Well, the federal panel and a decision on the mandate could come as soon as Wednesday. Kate? Okay, Monica, thank you. This weekend, people began receiving booster shots under new CDC recommendations. There's a lot of confusion surrounding who can get them, so we want to walk you through it. The CDC says people age 65 and older should get the Pfizer booster at least 6 months after getting their first 2 Pfizer shots. It's also recommended for adults in long-term care facilities, for those with certain underlying medical conditions, and adults with high-risk jobs like healthcare workers and school employees. But what if you got the Johnson & Johnson or Moderna vaccine? Should you be able to mix vaccines? It's something a lot of you are asking. Here's Lindsay Reiser with what the experts are saying.
The push for boosters is underway across the country, with people getting their Pfizer booster shots this weekend.
I'm 68 years old, and I've been hearing about the immunity from the earlier shot regime starting to wear out.
Okay, that's only been 9 minutes.
What about those who got Moderna or Johnson & Johnson vaccines? Can they mix and match with a Pfizer booster?
Okay.
Countries like Germany are allowing, even sometimes recommending, vaccine mixing and matching, and have been for months. But in the U.S., doctors are saying there's still not enough data yet.
Why are they being so conservative at this point? It does appear that while it may be safe, not clear that you get any benefit from mixing and matching. The majority of us can benefit from waiting because we are going to receive not just better information, but better guidance.
Surgeon General Vivek Murthy says the recommendations on Moderna and Johnson & Johnson boosters will come soon. The FDA is working with both to process and review data.
This is a high priority.
For those who did originally get the 2-dose Pfizer regimen and qualify for the booster, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says now's the time.
There's extraordinary data to demonstrate the safety of these vaccines and, in fact, that they work. So if you're in a high-risk position, I would absolutely recommend you get the boost.
The more people that can get boosted, the better.
But not everyone is rushing out for a 3rd dose.
If I die tomorrow, I live for 3/4 of a century. No, I'm not getting a shot. If I keep on living, that's good.
A choice about protection in a pandemic that's still not letting up.
And Lindsay, nice to have you in the studio. Pfizer's CEO out with some more news today about kids and vaccines.
Yeah, Kate, that's right. Albert Bourla said this morning that Pfizer vaccine data for kids ages 5 to 11 will be ready to be reviewed by the FDA within days. Kate, so many people waiting for that. Lindsay, thank you. The Secretary of Homeland Security said today that 12,000 of those Haitian migrants who were being held at a Texas border facility have now been released from custody into the U.S. to await immigration hearings. So where did they all go? Juan Venegas is in Del Rio, Texas.
The camp that once housed nearly 15,000 migrants, mostly Haitian, now empty. Most of them allowed to stay in the U.S. to plead their case.
How many have been released into the U.S.?
They're released on conditions, and approximately, I think it's about 10,000 or so, 12,000.
Immigration judges will now determine if they'll be deported or permitted to stay in the country under asylum. Many now staying with family members, sponsors, or shelters around the country.
There is a way to be humane in dealing with the issue of migrants who are fleeing persecution, fleeing fear, if you will.
Another 8,000 migrants voluntarily returning to Mexico, and more than 2,000 deported on planes.